On international trips, the President has directed that no more than 20 individuals be allowed to travel with him.
Cost-cutting measures. President Tinubu orders trimming of official delegation on local and foreign travels. Suspended Humanitarian Affairs Minister Peter Eddie reports to the EFCC. Federal government approves 18 billion naira to clear backlog of group life insurance for families of fallen heroes. As measures towards streamlining public expenditure and government business, President Tinubu orders cost-cutting measures in the presidency. Investigation continue on the activities of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs as suspended Minister Peter Eddie reports to office of the EFCC. Judiciary in focus as Apex Court hears appeal on Plateau State governorship dispute. These and more on Network News tonight, and I am Olajide Bello. And joining me from Lagos is Adeola Komi Akere. President Bola Tinubu has directed an immediate cost-cutting measures on local and international travels of federal government officials. The directive covers his office, that of the First Lady, the Vice President and his wife. The Presidential Advisor on Media and Publicity, Nigerian, at a briefing at the State House, reveals that the new directive, which is to effectively cut recurring expenditure and financial wastage by drastically reducing the number of officials in such travels, will also affect offices of ministers and agencies under them.
On international trips, the President has directed that no more than 20 individuals be allowed to travel with him. That number will be cut down to 5 in the case of the First Lady. The number in the entourage on official international trips for the Vice President will be cut to 5. On the wife of the Vice President is also 5. In terms of local trips, the President has approved a new limit of 25 members of staff to accompany him on domestic trips within the country. The office of the First Lady is now limited to 10 staff members. The Vice President will be limited to 15 members of staff, while his wife will be limited to 10 members of staff on official trips within the country, the same as the First Lady. The President is insistent that the prudence of government officials must reflect the prudence and efficiency of the Nigerian citizens.
This measure, the President has also decided not to travel with large security details from Abuja to other parts of the country and more.
Due to the directive of the President that the security outfits within states, whether it be police, DSS, or branches of the military, will frontline his protective detail when he travels. I believe we do not need to convince the officers of the federal government of Nigeria of the seriousness of the President with respect to how he will implement his directives. If there is anybody who feels that the directive of the President is not binding on them, who feels that the President will not uphold this directive in implementation and seeks to test it, they would do so at their own peril.
And joining me live in the studio to discuss more cost-cutting measures is the Special Advisor to the President of Media and Publicity, Nigerian. You're welcome to Network News.
Good evening to you, my brother, and good evening to all Nigerians watching.
Okay, let's set the tone for this discussion. The presidency just announced a new template for the size of political entourage allowed for the president, vice president, and offices of the First Lady and wife of the vice president. What informed this decision?
The president, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a man that is driven by empirical data. He is a man who studies numbers. He is a man who assesses reports of the level and quantity of entourages that have traveled on previous foreign trips, both under his presidency and under previous administrations. And it is on the basis of that study that His Excellency Mr. President determined conclusively that there was a need to set a marker, a very clear standard for what is acceptable in terms of the number of those who will be traveling on official trips, particularly to foreign locations, even though it includes restrictions even on domestic travel. The reason for this is the President is very much acutely aware of the fact that Nigerians are currently facing very serious economic challenges. Look, we have rising interest rates around the world. We have rising inflation. We have food and energy prices that have gone up due to a conglomeration of factors, ranging from what's going on in the Middle East and Europe and how that's affected some of this, and also what's going on domestically with the implementation of what Nigerians understand to be very important and needed economic reforms, but nonetheless very difficult economic reforms with the removal of the fuel subsidy and the ongoing unification of the foreign exchange rates. The point is, when Nigerians are hurting, when Nigerians are making the sacrifices they are making within their households to really cut the costs of various things to ensure that they have food on the table and the like, the President is saying that public officials must adopt the same efficiency, the same prudence, and the same level of accountability that Nigerian households are currently, implementing. So this is the position of the President, and we're going to continue to ensure that government officials understand that they are not more important than our people, and that they are going to, adhere to the same standards that we are asking of the Nigerian people.
Okay, I was just about to ask, when you talked about public office holders, the directive, will it trickle down to like ministers and other senior public office holders, or only the presidency for now?
This is a government-wide directive. It is binding on all federal ministries, departments, and agencies. But the President is a man who believes in leadership by example. This is why he is saying, I'm not simply telling the ministers what they can't do. I'm telling the nation what I am saying my office cannot do. He has put these restrictions on the office of the President itself. He has put these restrictions on the office of the Vice President. He has put these restrictions on his wife's office, the First Lady's office. This is the level of example that's required now. Nigerians are used to public officials telling them what they should do, while those public officials are not living by the example they're asking Nigerians to live by. We want to change that paradigm. We believe that public officials should be doing exactly what they're asking the Nigerian people to do. That is the belief of the President. That is the spirit behind this measure, and we're going to continue to ensure that this policy directive that has been handed down by Mr. President is fully implemented, irregardless of who is involved in the country.
Okay, now talking about implementation, how do you think a discipline can be instilled in the administration going by the tradition of what many call business as usual?
This is a major part of it, but let me be very frank. I am privy to conversations that take place in the Federal Executive Council meetings, and I am not afraid to say on national TV tonight that His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu just a few weeks ago told members of the Executive Cabinet, members of FEC, the ministers in the room, that if there is any situation in which any minister or any head of agency is traveling as part of an international delegation to a foreign conference or a foreign event, and they do not have an official engagement that they are directly participating in, if he sees that happen, that official will be sacked, and that includes ministers. He said it to them directly. So this is the President that we've elected. He's going to tell people the way it is. He's going to warn them, but anybody that wants to test that warning will find out what's on the other side of that warning, and it's not going to be pleasant.
All right, very quickly now, just before I let you go, are we likely to see more cost-cutting measures by the federal government, like say, in the future?
Absolutely. This is just the first of several initiatives in terms of cost-cutting that we can expect. We still believe that there's room to rationalize within federal MDAs. That's an ongoing effort. I believe Nigerians will hear about that soon. And we want to make sure that as much as possible in cutting down the cost of government and the cost of running government, we're not just cutting down costs to clap for ourselves or to make ourselves look good. We're cutting down the costs so that we can move those funds that are currently being or that have been wasted on some of these excessive delegations and channeling those resources into, creating an inclusive economy in labor-intensive sectors like agriculture, solid minerals development, manufacturing, construction. This is where we want government money to be going, healthcare, education, and that's the commitment of the president. If we can build an inclusive economy where every Nigerian, irrespective of your faith, irrespective of your ethnic background, irrespective of even your social status and your income status or your income level, if you can find a path to prosperity in Nigeria, all of us will be more prosperous. And that's the belief of the president, and that's where those resources will be allocated toward.
Okay, many thanks, essay to the President of Media and Publicity, Nigerian Galale, for your inputs on Network News.
Thank you for having me.
Now, too many people in Nigeria, common words observed as being in usage for everyday conversations have come to include equity, fairness and justice, words which ordinarily imply rights, dealings, good faith and ethical uprightness. Taking a cue from the public's yearning, President Bola Tinubu in his New Year broadcast promised a fair deal for all Nigerians irrespective of class or creed. Alleviation, this report delves into how public support could help the president achieve this goal.
One of the recurring issues dominating public discourse in Nigeria's recent history has been a perceived feeling by some sections of the society that they are being allegedly alienated from the nation's commonwealth. Despite assurances and crucial steps taken by past administrations to assuage such feelings in the citizenry by providing them with dividends of democracy, among other tokens of good governance, a sense that government at all levels is purportedly far from the people persists in the minds of some critics. But President Bola Tinubu says his interactions with different segments of the populace has made him to understand their needs.
We will work diligently to make sure every Nigerian feels the impact of their government, the economic aspirations, and the material well-being of the poor, the most vulnerable, and the working people shall not be neglected.
Many believe that this promise under the Renewed Hope agenda could be fulfilled if those entrusted with promoting the concepts of equity and equality before the law effectively play their parts.
Our attitude needs to change before Nigeria can get better. And for there to be discipline, there must be justice and equity.
For as long as people have unfettered and unhindered access to the courts, then there is a semblance of equity and justice.
Political observers believe that most Nigerians have an abiding faith that the nation's future is bright and noble. All it requires for greatness to be unveiled is a collaboration by all towards reaching this goal of making Nigeria great again. Alleviation, NTA News.
The federal government has approved the establishment of a world-class special textile industry in Benue State with 3 months to boost tailoring services and other related activities. Vice President Kashim Shettima disclosed these at the first expanded National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Clinic in Makedi, the Benue State capital. Elia City reports that the Vice President also visited the IDP camp in Makedi, where he donated food items and cash to reduce the sufferings of the displaced persons.
Small and medium enterprises are said to be the backbone of any healthy economy, as they stimulate economic growth, provide employment opportunities and open new market platforms. The inaugural expanded National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic provides a platform for entrepreneurs to exhibit their products, services and technologies.
You see that there's a lot of advantage. There's a lot of things to gain in this program.
So it has been a very wonderful opportunity for me to network and meet new people.
Various speakers in their remarks, including the Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia, recognized the importance of MSMEs in supporting local creativity and innovative technologies.
This initiative would certainly enhance access to credit and other financial services, ultimately empowering businesses to thrive and contribute to the economic development of our dear state. The area of water supply, we are providing dams in line to boost the food agriculture, which is also going to support the micro, small and medium-scale industries that are thriving in Nigeria.
The Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, said, apart from the establishment of the world-class textile center in the state, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has made available 75 billion naira single-digit facility with the Bank of Industry to enable operators have access to finances to expand their businesses.
Additionally, the Access Bank has made 50 billion naira of their funds available to MSMEs at a discounted rate of 15%, which will significantly increase our loan portfolio and hence our loan performance.
Vice President Shettima also visited the internally displaced persons camp, Ichua, along Joseph Sawan Taka University Road, where he announced a donation of 1,000 bags of assorted grains, building materials, and 10 million naira for the IDP's immediate needs.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is willing to provide you with tractors, harvesters, planters, fertilizers, and all the ingredients for productive agriculture.
The Vice President therefore called on the political elites in the state to unite for more dividends. In Makudi, Elias, ATF, NTA News.
And away from Benue State, the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, has reported to the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Abuja for questioning. A source of the commission discloses that the suspended minister arrived at about 11 a.m. Tuesday, following the presidential directives that a full investigation should be conducted over the minister's alleged involvement in the diversion of funds to the tune of more than 500 million naira. The minister was suspended following a public outcry that followed alleged fraud. You're watching the Network News. More reports when we return. Thanks for being there. Now let's head to the judiciary. The Supreme Court has formulated some critical issues that will guide its final decision on the Plateau State governorship election dispute. The five-man panel of justices led by Justice John Okoro stood at these after the adumbration of counsel and the appeal filed by Governor Caleb Mutfwang seeking to upturn the Court of Appeal's judgment that gave his challenger the victory in Ntawe Goshwe of the All Progressives Congress. Olabode Arewa reports.
Following the Court of Appeal judgment of 19th November 2023, upholding the appeal of Ntawe Goshwe of the All Progressives Congress, saying that he won the Plateau State governorship election, Governor Caleb Mutfwang of the People's Democratic Party approached the Apex Court to overturn the judgment. The governor's appellant said he was validly sponsored and nominated through a party congress by his party, the PDP. His legal team, headed by Kanu Agabi, senior advocate of Nigeria, argued that, contrary to the APC's claims, his party, the PDP, complied with the court order directing it to conduct fresh congresses in order to nominate candidates for various elected positions. Ntawe Goshwe and his party, the APC, are contending the validity of Governor Mutfwang to even appear on the ballot in the March 2023 governorship election. The panel of justices of the Apex Court observed the issue of party nomination and sponsorship for elective office and the issue of whether there was compliance with the orders of courts in this instance as live issues for determination. INEC, who filed the second appeal in the matter, withdrew the appeal before the court, and it was accordingly struck out.
The issue that we brought before this court is whether there was compliance with the order of the Court of Appeal of 28th of October 2022.
There's nothing like lack of structure. And then also you will also find that the Congress they said never held is actually a subject matter that no court can deal with. You also had it in court.
The Apex Court has reserved judgment in the matter to a future date. In Abuja, Olabode, NTA News.
And away from the judiciary, veterans of the Nigerian Armed Forces are appealing to the federal government to review the wide disparity in pension payments within ranks, payment of allowances, and other entitlements to improve their welfare after retirement from active service. In a news conference in Abuja, members of the Ministerial Committee note that it has become imperative to sensitize the veterans on ongoing efforts in collaboration with the Ministry of Defense to improve their welfare.
1. We are seeking bulk payment and use of same template for the payment of the already partially approved Security Department allowance, which we call SDA. 2. We are trying to review the unjustifiable and arbitrary wide disparity in pension payments within all the ranks. Upward reviews of salary and pensions. The establishment of Veterans Federation of Nigeria as in other climes. Then we are also seeking for the overhauling of the National Health Insurance Scheme.
The committee also highlighted the issue of palliative payment to veterans, which they alleged are outstanding for many of its members.
We are most grateful for the gesture. Unfortunately, this gesture of palliative payment has not been properly handled. However, I was in touch with the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs that we are going to be paid before the end of January. Worst scenario, first week of February.
Briefing is preparatory to the forthcoming Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. The presidency has approved the sum of 18.4 billion naira to clear the backlog of group life assurance for the families of departed soldiers from 2011 till date. The Chief of Army Staff was speaking at the inauguration of a remodeled 82 Division Complex and other projects. Kelechi Ochiaha reports.
The Nigerian Army boss described a military profession as a selfless and disciplined service that should be guarded with every sense of responsibility. Inaugurating the newly remodeled 82 Division Complex and other residential quarters, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Alawaja, noted they are part of welfare agenda aimed at restoring the prestige of the Nigerian Army and to boost the morale of troops while discharging their duties.
I'm more excited to see that the tree that was planted about 30 years ago, that is this headquarters complex, successive general officer commanding have continued to water it. And the current commanding officer has gone a long way to beautify it and even remodel the reception area.
The Chief of Army Staff, while commending the gallant troops on the parade ground for their unwavering dedication in ensuring the safety of life and property in the country, also salute their courage and resilience in the face of adversity.
I want to assure you that in line with my command philosophy, one of the pillars of which is sound administration, the Army High Command is poised to carry out massive renovations in our barracks. Is that clear?
Yes, sir! Various commanding officers from the Nigerian Army accompanied the Army Chief on the operational visit. In Enugu, Kelechi Ochiaga, NTA News.
Management of Tropical General Investments Group, TGI, has assured the federal government of adding more value to the economy by increasing the nation's GDP and reduce unemployment. This came to the fore during a familiarization visit by the Minister of Trade and Investment, Doris Zoka Nite, to the factory in Shagam, Ogun State. Anthony Gandoni reports that Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, was part of the entourage.
Accompanied by the host governor Dapo Abiodun, the Minister of Trade and Investments, Dr. Doris Nzoka Anite's visit was to further assure foreign investors of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration's commitment to creating an enabling environment for investors in the country. Welcoming the guests, The Executive Director of Food and Distribution, Tropical General Investment Group, Dipanjan Roy, said some of the company's mandates include focusing on driving inclusivity and value addition using locally sourced materials. Tropical General Investment Group, according to the director, has since its establishment in Nigeria in 2019 added value to the nation's economy as well as reduced unemployment.
This facility can also crush 225,000 tons. And again, as I explained, it can crush soybean. It will, at its peak, it will crush 150,000 tons of soybean every year. It will crush 30,000 tons of shea, 25,000 tons of palm kernel, and 25,000 tons of rice bran, all of which is locally available.
The minister and the governor assured the management of TGI Group of federal and the state governments' resolve to further protect and promote ease of doing business in Nigeria.
The projects being commissioned here will go a long way in addressing these challenges. We are thanking you for doing us this favor and for looking out and for being futuristic. I understand it's a business decision, but the impact on the economy will also go a long way towards increasing our GDP and towards increasing the economic development of the country.
I want to thank the TGI Group because you are a classical example of the success story of Ogun State. You are a reference point industry.
The entourage thereafter embarked on tour to the new facilities in the company. Tropical General Investments Group are into the production of Golden Terra soya oil, Terra seasoning cubes, Renew home products, among others. In Ijebu-Ode, Anthony Gandonu, NTA News.
Minister of State Labour and Employment, Kiruka Onyeji-Ocha, is of the view that every sector of the country, including education, must move on the same pace to achieve the current administration's renewed hope agenda. She made the point during a closed-door meeting with the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, in Abuja. The engagement is part of efforts to avert industrial disputes in academic cycles and forge a way forward to smooth academic session in Nigeria in 2024 and beyond. While craving the indulgence of the leadership of the union led by its president, Comrade Emmanuel Osodeke, to allow the ministry to know all the problems of the union, the minister extended an open invitation for dialogue and complete transparency. Emphasizing the critical role of education in the nation's future, Onyeji-Ocha said President Bola Tinubu's administration is prioritizing education as key pillar of development. She referred to the recent student loan approval as a stepping stone. Meanwhile, Ministry of Education has made good its promise to unravel the cause and the officials who accepted degrees acquired in 6 weeks in Togo and Benin Republic, as well as the participation of the graduates in the National Youth Service Corps scheme (NYC). The Minister, Professor Tahir Mamman, inaugurated the Interministerial Committee to investigate the matter. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports.
Last week, the nation was inundated with stories of a Nigerian who bagged degrees in 6 weeks in Cotonou, Benin Republic, and served the mandatory National Youth Service (NYC). The reports dented the image of the ministry and exposed the weaknesses of the approving and regulatory agencies, and the certificate of the suspect was approved in Nigeria. Based on this, the ministry suspended accreditation and evaluation of degrees from Benin and Togo and commenced internal administrative processes to determine the culpability or otherwise of its staff, for which applicable public service rules will be applied. This is the reason behind the inauguration of the investigative panel that comprises Ministry of Education, Foreign Affairs and Youth. Others include officials from NUC, National Security Advisor and NIA.
The panel is to examine the veracity of the allegations of degree certificate racketeering within both foreign and local private universities in Nigeria, review the role of any MDA of its officials, including identifying such officials in facilitation of the recognition and procurement of the fake certificate in question. If the committee is able to uncover such institutions, we will be expecting the ministry together with security agencies to chase them up wherever they are, even if they're in employment 10, 15 years ago.
The panel has 8 weeks to submit its recommendations. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Now let's head to the Center of Excellence where Adiola is standing by. Adiola.
Olajide. Not less than 1,000 women and youths from the 19 skills acquisition centers across Lagos State have benefited from the 2023 Micro-Enterprise Support Initiative Program for the vulnerable and indigent residents in the state. S.A. Owamaka reports.
Objectives of the Themes Plus agenda of the Lagos State government, the Micro-Enterprise Support Initiative Program for vulnerable and indigent residents in the state is directed at alleviating the plight of beneficiaries and working towards their financial independence as contributors to the economic sustainability and development of the state. This time, beneficiaries were empowered with various working tools, which include hair dryers, industrial cookers, grinding machines, and laptops.
Before I enrolled for the program, I know how much I spent in the hairdressing salon with my children. So, but now, I don't go to hairdressing salon again. I do it by myself.
I'm going to use it for betterment for myself and to improve myself.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented, emphasized the place of micro-enterprises in the development of the society.
Across the globe, government, private sectors, and civil societies are exploring better ways to achieve poverty reduction and accelerate women empowerment through ingenious economic development strategies. And as the 5th largest economy in Africa, it is compelling on us to harness the potential of our diverse population to drive accelerated, sustainable, and inclusive economic growth.
Lagos State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Cecilia Bolaji Dada, while acknowledging the state government's unwavering commitment towards the empowerment of women and youths, urged beneficiaries to properly utilize the equipment given to them.
The monitoring team of the ministry will be paying you unscheduled visits to monitor your business.
The 1,000 beneficiaries who have received various professional working tools through the social intervention program of the Lagos State government are expected to contribute their quota to achieving the Greater Lagos vision. In Lagos, S.A. Owamaka, NTA News.
Increased public awareness on safety of lives and property have been attributed to decline in the rate of fatalities associated with road crashes, especially during the festive period. Diana Ajali takes a look at safety on the road before, during and after the U-Tide in Lagos.
There has always been increase in vehicular movement and passengers during the U-Tide. This common phenomenon usually results in road traffic crashes. The FRSC said in recent time, the figures have drastically reduced as road users express their views on the current development.
This time around, it seems as if people are mindful of their life. When we are coming, it was glorious. There were less casualties and we all enjoyed the Christmas.
From Ishagam, reach Ijebu, that road no good. Now bad road, all that motorway they come. From there, now one way, not just the manager, no wala for us there for that road.
Data about the Federal Road Safety Corps, Lagos, shows that between the 1st of December and the 31st of this month, 33 road traffic crashes were recorded, out of which only one case was fatal.
We have started, in tandem with the United Nations Decade of Action, we have the aspiration of ensuring that we reduce the total fatality by 50% by 2030. We have a FSLD, that is failure to install a speed limiting device, that we book people for. When they book you, we ensure that you install before you leave the premises. That we have been doing. Again, last December, the national headquarters deployed so many radar guns to ensure that we use it to arrest people that are moving above recommended speed limits.
According to the Federal Road Safety Corps, Lagos State Command, a total of 452 road traffic crashes were recorded in 2023, out of which 139 persons were killed, while 67,641 persons were arrested for different traffic infractions. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos. The network news continues with business news after this break. Please stay.
Good to know you're still here. Now talking business, investors gained 1.57 trillion naira as the all-share index advanced by 3.57%. The market closed higher by 2,867.31 basis points, with total volume traded advancing by 18.46% to close at 1.41 billion naira. The value of stocks is 24.68 billion naira and traded in 17,144 deals. Fidelity Bank was the most traded stock by volume with 141.75 million naira, while UBA was the most traded stock by value with 3.78 billion units traded. At the close of trading, the market recorded 70 gainers, 13 losers, and 37 were unchanged. And taking a look at the global market, European markets closed lower, extending a negative start to 2024, while Japan's Nikkei hits 33-year high as Asia markets rebound. Let's take a look. And a look at the naira. Naira strengthens against the US dollar to 856 naira to a dollar in the official market. Let's see how the naira is doing amongst other currencies around the world. That is a business news. Network news continues with Olajide. Olajide, it's nice doing business with you.
Same here, Benny. It's always nice doing business with you too. Moving on, Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum says overload by heavy-duty trailers on Maiduguri-Gamboru-Gala Trans-Border Road is sabotage to the efforts of the federal government towards rehabilitating major roads across the state. This was when the governor ordered the detention of 37 trailers in Gamboru for carrying loads in excess of stipulated tons. Muhammad Goni reports.
Gamborungala local government area is a border community known for trans-border trade since time immemorial. Hundreds of heavy-duty trailers used to leave Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, for communities in Chad and Cameroon until halted by the insurgency. With the gradual return of peace to Borno, the trans-border movement of goods was resuscitated to the admiration of government and people of the state. What worries the state authorities, however, is the overload by the transporters, which deteriorated roads and bridges linking the state capital to the three local government areas along the major road leading to the neighboring countries of Chad and Cameroon. Governor Zulum, who spent 2 days in Gamboru for humanitarian and other official engagement, ordered detaining of 37 vehicles carrying loads above stipulated tons.
Recently, the federal government, under the terminal administration, has approved for the release of award letters for the construction of Maiduguri, Gamboru, Dikwa, using concrete rod, and then Bama, Banki, Dangote's company. Very soon the contract will start. But under this scenario, nothing will happen. So we must do something to stop.
The governor, who described return of trans-border commercial activities as good omen for revival of economic activities crippled by the security challenges, however, expressed need for concerted effort on the part of the state authorities, security operatives, and the citizens to put a stop to the nefarious activities. From Gamboru, in Gamborungala local government, Muhammad Goni, NTA.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture has advised state governors to take accurate data of farmers that will key into the federal government's food security program. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Buharis stated this when he hosted Katsina State Governor in his office in Abuja. Musa Aliyu reports.
The federal government, under the Presidential Initiative on Food Security, plans to expand the area under cultivation with additional 500,000 hectares towards boosting national food production at food. Achieving this, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Buharis said it will require the support of the state governments.
And first things first, we have to collaborate with the states, the local governments, to come up with a genuine and verifiable farmer list. This is very important because we have to know who the real farmers are, and by so doing we have to collaborate with the local authorities and the state government.
And Katsina State Governor informed the minister his readiness to key into the presidential initiative.
With collaboration from the ministry, I think we can go a long way in helping to achieve the president's dream of having a secured country in terms of food.
Katsina State also plans to establish livestock value chain market, as well as engagement and training of youths in agriculture extension.
This livestock center will encompass everything: patterning, pasture development, artificial insemination centers, meat processing, and the cooling chain.
And right now, with what we have started with this dry season farming, I think it can only get better.
The Ministry of Agriculture is already investing resources in dry season farming nationwide. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Another break beckons. NTA Network News continues shortly.
Tuesday Live. Discussions will focus on CNG and energy transformation in Nigeria. Tuesday Live, 10:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. Every Tuesday, join us.
Thanks for being there. The Nigerian Television Authority has signed a memorandum of understanding with Afro Sports for the seamless transmission of the 2024 African Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. Signing the dotted lines, the two strategic partners, with relationships that spanned more than 2 decades, promised to ensure a hitch-free transmission of 46 matches and 6 delayed matches, totaling 52.
It is coming at a time, I think, when sport is growing again in the continent. We have had some lows and ups and downs, but given the the expectations that from feelers that we are getting across the country, in fact, so much expectation is there.
African Cup of Nations is the largest sporting event on the continent. It's not by accident that NTA is also the largest broadcaster on the continent. So it's no misplaced that the largest sporting event on the continent comes to the home. It's like almost like football is coming home. This is the largest broadcaster on the continent. So by any means, this should be the first deal that CAF does, because the biggest eyeballs in Africa are going to see it on this network.
The principal partner appreciates NTA for sustaining the strength as the largest TV network on the continent and commended the Director General for widening the horizon in the business of projecting Nigeria and Africa to the world. And up next is Sport Update with Gift George.
The 34th edition of the In volleyball, Nigerian men's para-volleyball national team will face Egypt, Morocco and Kenya in Group A of the African qualifiers for place at Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. Nigeria will host the African qualifiers between January 20 and February 3 at the Indoor Sports Hall of the National Stadium, Lagos.
There are only 2 slots for Africa. So Nigeria is going to make sure we qualify for this. And the category we are having the male and female.
With sports updates, Gift George, NTA News.
And up next is the weather forecast.
A warm welcome. Weather reports collated across the country within the last 24 hours indicated that we had little rainfall activities over some parts of Lagos and Delta State. This is as a result of the incursion of moist winds observed at lower levels of the atmosphere. The moisture surge is still sustained, and as such, there are still prospects for weather activities over the coastal region. The southern region is expected to be mostly partly cloudy to hazy, with chances of morning rains over some parts of Lagos, southern Ondo, and Ogun State. These rainfall activities should also affect some parts of Delta, Bayelsa, and also Rivers by late afternoon hours. However, the north and the central cities are expected to witness slight dust haze throughout the forecast period. Please stand by for the air quality index. I remain Joyce Ogunleye, and I'll see you again.
But that's it on the network news. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.